fire broke out at the Tata Electronics plant in Hosur, Tamil Nadu, a key facility for Apple's iPhone production in India. As Apple ramps up its efforts to diversify manufacturing beyond China, this fire has raised serious questions about potential disruptions in the iPhone supply chain, especially with the Indian festive season just around the corner. Following a major fire incident in Tata Electronics' iPhone plant in Hosur, Apple has reportedly sent a supplier responsibility team to the facility to review the situation. While the fire's immediate impact on the supply chain may be limited, experts say it depends on how long the production remains suspended. If it continues for an extended period, Apple might have to ramp up production in China or shift operations there to keep up with the demand. This incident also comes at a critical time for India's Make in India campaign. However, repeated setbacks like the fire in Hosur, coupled with previous fire incidents at other Apple suppliers, raise concerns about India's readiness to fully take on this role. Fire officials revealed that the blaze at Tata's Hosur plant started in a chemical storage area, highlighting the need for improved safety measures. Another unit at the same plant was scheduled to begin iPhone assembly later this year, and it's unclear if this incident will delay those plans. Despite these challenges, industry experts remain optimistic. Temporary setbacks like these could drive stronger safety and operational standards, ultimately solidifying India's role in Apple's global supply chain.
If you implement what I am going to say, we will put out the fire in exactly less than 7 minutes. And you can put out, not only you can put out the fire in less than 7 minutes, you don't need to even call the fire department to do so. I want to put the power to put out the fire in your hands. And it can be done so that not only the factory is not going to be damaged so badly as we have seen with the Tata's factory. Your factory will be intact, most of your machinery will be intact. That is the denouement or end product with which we are going to work towards. Luckily, it is not going to be as expensive as this water system, which is otherwise damaging to the crop and lives. So now the solutions are like this. So number one, solution is, if suppose this is a factory, most of your factories, at least I have seen, they are all air conditioned. They have a number of machines, and people are working at different machines. And you have one entrance, and the same entrance is also for exit. That is what I have seen. And of course, your machines are so good, are sophisticated, that you have to wear different kinds of dresses so that we don't carry the dust inside the machines, because they are so sensitive. They are so important. So that is the situation. So in that kind of a situation, if there is a fire breaking out, if you see the amount of smoke that has come, most of the smoke is constant. So if you are exposed to that kind of smoke just for 2 minutes, you will be unconscious, and in 6 minutes, a person will die. So that is the power of smoke. Most of the times, it is not the flame that kills. It is the smoke that suffocates and kills people in fire accidents. So therefore, when I look at your plant, last time when I visited a couple of your factories and just went inside. That's why I wanted this electronic cluster of 3 people also to be coming and witness, because I don't want in this state this kind of accidents to be repeated. I don't want any one of you to suffer that kind of a fate. I don't want any one of your employees to have any injuries and be hospitalized. not to suffer reputational damage. Keep up your jobs and keep your flag flying high in the state while I sit in this chair, if I am worthy of this chair. That is why I am here. That is why I am here with the VS of Mr. Madireddy Pratap. Okay. So the first answer is liquid carbon dioxide. See, when a fire happens, what I wanted you to do, just ask your employees to get out. Let's see, save your soul. Even to get out, what I noticed in your factories is that there is a small one way, and to come back that way, it will be terribly difficult during the time of accident. So therefore, what I wanted you to do, while going and coming back in normal operations, keep the same. But most of the factories are ground floor, luckily. So what I want is that you put a number of exits, which can be easily opened in case of any fire or alarm or danger. They just open the doors, get out. Because you can't negotiate all that, small valleys. And in the time of accident, what happens is the power collapses. It's all around darkness and too much, and that smoke. You see how much blinding. So it's the best thing is whoever is wherever he may be. If you are in that corner, you just push that door, get out. You are in that corner, you push some part of it, you get out. If you are in this corner, you get out. Like that, you provide as many exits as possible, which normally cannot be opened, which normally cannot be used, should not be used. So you can monitor it. You have so many cameras, locks and unlocks and so many things. But in an emergency, if there is a need, you can just break open and get out. You can normally open also get out. So kindly make that modification so that your people are safe. Even when somebody is stuck inside, you can easily go and rescue them. If you are not having such kind of number of exits, which normally need not be used. If you don't have it will become a Herculean task for the exits. It becomes very, very tough to rescue our own employees. Of course, our own first priority should be always to safeguard our employees. Luckily, in this case, some of them were hospitalized, but no casualties were reported. To that extent, it's a good task. But the amount of property damage, the disruption in the activities that has happened, it's just humongous. I don't want to accept it. I don't want it to be repeated here. That is why we are sitting. So the question is, I'm putting up a number of exits. I talked about liquid CO2. So once we make the people get out of the place, that should be the first priority. Don't think about anything. Don't think about fighting the fire. Just get out of the place. Then close the doors. Then it is a sealed box. 1 room or 2 rooms, maybe 10 rooms. It doesn't matter. All that you have to do with the liquid CO2 is to run a pipe. This is just a GI pipe by and large, on the roof, across the roof, and put it outside. Terminate it outside on the road side, not near the building, because a liquid CO2 tanker will come and it can connect into that pipe. Once people are not there, once it is a confined space, all that you have to do is to pump the liquid CO2 from the tanker into this. You know what is liquid CO2? It's minus 40 degrees centigrade. And on contact with the normal temperature, it expands 500 times. 500 times. So that means within a couple of seconds, and it is heavier than air, heavier than oxygen. Air is nothing but nitrogen and oxygen. CO2, O2, and on the top of it C is sitting. So therefore, it is heavier than air. It will automatically displace any oxygen that is present in the room. So we have conducted a test in Mangalagiri. We have taken a big cold storage, which is 5,000 cubic meter, much bigger than any of your factories that you can think about. And we have deliberately created fire. We have used all the traditional technologies, but one technology that stood out is liquid CO2. We completely douse the fire within 7 minutes. Because the fire cannot survive without oxygen. Oxygen cannot be there when the liquid CO2 expands. That is simple. Okay. So what I am trying to say, for this purpose, if you are having any number of rooms, because you are in a cluster, you are in one small simple location. One simple location. So all that you have to do is that run one pipe, which may be costing about 10,000, 20,000 rupees, and terminate it somewhere, on the roadside, so that a truck can come and go very easily. And luckily for me, and thanks to Reliance, Devendra Prasad has promised to buy one liquid CO2 tender. It does not cost more than a water tender. Of course, it is a cryogenic cylinder and a truck platform. And he is willing to buy one. That is enough for all of you. You can share that same tender for your benefit. It can be potentially stationed near in the API cylinder, because it is for a common purpose, common property, and it can be stored. So what is that happens is, whenever there is a problem in any factory, liquid CO2 tender will rush. How many minutes? Maybe 5 minutes. In that 5 minutes, what you will do? You will make the people who are working there to safely evacuate. Close the doors and connect this pipe to this. The moment you connect and then switch it on, in 7 minutes, there is no fire. So will your factory be safe? Will your machines be safe? So that is the solution which we are giving. Unfortunately, this solution so far is not there in India. I don't know abroad, but it's not there in India. See, it is a traditional simple thing. CO2 putting a fire is as old as anything, as old as the fire, isn't it? So that is why we always ask you to put some 4.5 kg cylinders everywhere, CO2 cylinders. It is just that, because this room is a very big entity. It is just that instead of 4.5 kg to put up small fires, we are bringing 10,000 kg cylinder in the form of liquid CO2. That's all. It's no big deal. And in a truck, so that one truck is able to service your cluster in 10-15 minutes. You got the point? That is it. And no more. Very simple. So this is number one method of fully 100% dousing the fire and not meeting the fate of Tatas and not having a solution like that. Isn't it? So this is the most effective medium, because all your factories are closed, they're air conditioned. This is the best that can happen. Number two. So there is something called aerosol. You know this powder. It is not actually a powder. It's like a book. It is like this. It's a solid in normal situation. It is pressureless, and it is having a lifetime of 15 years once you buy it, and it has become very cheap, very affordable, I would say. So it is the volume of it is based on this volume. So what I want you to do, either you put in the rooms, or better you put with your security. You always have 24-hour security in India. So for your factory, you calculate the volume and put enough amount of aerosol with you. It is mobile, just 2 kg, 3 kg, 4 kg size balls. Anybody can throw it. All that you have to do, just throw it into the room where It comes in the form of the balls also. Just throw in the balls. That can be done by any security without any training whatsoever. And security can keep them safe with their rooms. Right? And I wanted all of you to sign a mutual aid agreements. Because, in terms of fighting fire, disaster, we are all one. In terms of fighting in the marketplace for market share, you are all competing. Here we are collaborating. That is why we are sitting together. You may be rivals in marketplace, but while in production in a location, we are all fighting together, collaborating together against this disaster. That is why you are sitting before. So therefore, aerosol he will keep 5 kgs, he will keep 10 kgs. For his requirements he has kept. All the people will keep here. So when you have mutual aid agreements, always some people in your security are having a skill trained and they are doing normally your duties because it happens once in a blue moon. So for that purpose you don't have a dedicated team. So they are trained, they are working to safeguard your factory. It is just that every shift there are a couple of people, there may be 5 people in your factory in every shift who are additionally trained to combat the fire. Likewise in every factory, all of them are in a WhatsApp group. If something happens, let us say in his factory, you know what happens the moment immediately the WhatsApp buzz will go. And everybody who is supposed to be assigned for this purpose, not all your security people, only 5 people from your factory, they will bring this mobile equipment, something like aerosol, and carry it with them and rush to this location. Meanwhile, what he is doing, he will get out of the employees out of his factory. And courtesy Reliance, the liquid CO2 tender will come and will connect and put the lever. Meanwhile, all these people would have brought their own aerosols. He is having his own aerosol, but all others also will bring aerosols. What all that have to be done is just throw it to them. Will the fire survive? Is there any chance that fire can survive? It can be put off several times over and over. Is it not, sir? And the beauty of aerosol is, suppose in the factory there are somebody who has been injured and you could not evacuate. Possibly in that situation liquid CO2 is not the right medium because he will suffocate to death. But aerosol is not right, because the aerosol will not displace oxygen. Even if aerosol is put into the fire and a person is lying there, he will survive because oxygen is still there in the room. Aerosol will only remove some kind of other than oxygen materials, which are very essential for sustaining the fire. It's a new type of long ago it used to be very damn expensive. Now it is made in Hyderabad. It's too cheap. So therefore now I have been prescribing this very widely. So now you have confidence that you can put out the fire. Not in 2 hours as is being claimed. Within minutes, not more than 10 minutes. Okay, sir. That is the second. Then we are not talking about water or sprinklers. And aerosol also we are not talking about crores of rupees investment. Neither James Bond training. We didn't ask you to have special training. Did we ask you to put lot of money? No. So then the third one is, DC powder. So ABC powder we call it, the white powder. Now what I want, each one of your factory should have at least 1 or 2, depending on the size of the factory. Trolleys, 50 kg trolleys. Trolleys means they can be mobile. They have wheels. It's a cylinder. By itself you press it, it will just like water. The powder will go onto the fire. So what happens is sometimes we are getting EV vehicles and number of different types of vehicles. Even the vehicle can get into flames. We don't know what happens when. Suppose outside the factory there is a truck and it goes into the flames. What do you have to do? What you have installed all these sprinklers and are no use. You have to have something to put out that fire. And immediately so. Otherwise it will spread to the neighboring facilities. So sometimes the accidents can happen, they get into fire and so on and so forth. So for those purposes, you should have these ABC powder trolleys. If you have those ABC powder trolleys, outside this factory, on the road, or in the lawn, or while uploading, or while loading the truck, it goes into the flames. You bring them, just press those levers. How many? All your factories will have at least one or two. And the fellows are in communication with each other in WhatsApp group, right? And they will bring their trolleys along with their ABC powders and just throw it into this fire. Will the fire survive? Because so many ABC powder, a fly will be there. This is just not possible for it to survive. Even for a big factory, when it is that like Tata factory on fire, you can put this ABC powder onto the building so that the fire does not spread. Inside the building, the most effective medium is liquid CO2 or aerosol. But outside the building, on the top of the building, the ABC is the best medium because it settles down, it envelops, it crushes the fire in the outdoor environment. So that when because you are having mutual aid agreements and you can pull in, so will the fire survive? So it is the three different ways with very little, this ABC powder 50 kg cylinders are not more than 1 or 2 lakh rupees. So for all of you, it's a very small, insignificant amount of money. And only the liquid CO2 tender is as much as a crore rupees or some 80 lakh rupees, which Reliance people have agreed to donate means it is also for their own self-interest and as well as CSR for helping all of you for this cluster. So they want to encourage. Of course, somebody has to be found for Sri City cluster. In fact, that cylinders are made by Sri City. VRL. So those cylinders are made in Sri City. So you can ask them to donate one cylinder and just buy one truck, that is 30 lakhs. So share 1 or 2 lakhs each and it will be done. It's not a big deal. So you can safely remove water sprinklers because they are dangerous. In fact, they are endangering your factory and your lives. And they are no longer necessary. If you want, I can give it in writing. Because not only that they are endangering your life, but also you have to maintain separate manpower to put those jockey pump up and then electrical pump up, TV pump up, and there is unnecessarily, without reason and right, electricity being unnecessarily used. So it's all waste, adding to climate change and all that stuff. So you don't need, you can economize that. And also another thing is, you have to contract a heavier load for that particular purpose. Whether you use that load or not, you have to pay minimum demand charges to the electricity board. That also you will save. So you will save unnecessary maintenance, minimum demand charges, and endangering your lives. So for that I can give you in writing that you can just simply and remove those things. After you get liquid CO2 and aerosol you can just buy off the shelf almost. And ABC 50 kgs also you can buy off the shelf. And you sign mutual aid agreements, all of you. Of course, that is a condition on my NOC also, mutual aid agreements. And and what I would like you to do that for every security, whomever you have put, to designate for every shift some people. And let them combine themselves and train themselves. If you want, we can also help you. but better that be self-reliant and have some kind of cooperation and coordination under the aegis of ILA. The ILAs are there. For ILAs you are already contributing money. APS you are there. So ILA people will not only housing and maintaining. And maintenance staff, the engineering staff has to be provided by the concerned companies, because they may or may not have the engineering talent, because this is a cryogenic cylinder. It's not a James Bond job to maintain it, but still, one expert engineer having a look at it is always good, and the private sector is the best persons to take care of it. Government cannot take care of it. I don't have engineers, and they are not that diligent enough to take care of it. You can take care of it just as a side job. And the liquid CO2, suppose the tender you use the 10,000 kg, what is the cost of it? It's just 1 lakh. It's not a big deal. You don't want to waste 50-60 crores of rupees for property and create such a big reputational damage for every one of you. And most of all, you as a managers, you lose your reputation and job, and that is not right. So it is not all these things almost cost very minimal amount of money, and it is very easy to be done. And sixth, you want still some water. Still some water. See, these are all plants which are on ground floor by and large. Some office spaces are multi-stories, and office space not much of fire incidents are there. So what I prescribed is, if you still want water, I wanted to buy some 8 HP pumps or 10 HP pumps, which can be also plunger pumps, which can also be put on a mobile platforms. And you have sumps, water sumps. At the water sumps, you just keep it. The idea is that they can be kept at water sumps, and whatever the suction pipe can draw water from a water tank, they can from a sump or from a overhead tank. Any water place, just you drop that suction pipe, it will draw water. And then these pumps, they generate huge amount of pressure. 10 HP pump generates 120 kg per centimeter square. And our NBC requires 3.5 kg per centimeter square. Kg per centimeter square is nothing but 1 atmospheric pressure. NBC requires 3.5. So normally we design all your safety systems for 9 kg per centimeter square. Normally, because the engineering safety, and our margin of safety should be redundancy. But 10 HP pipe generates, 10 HP engine generates as much as 120 kg per centimeter square. And 5 HP pumps, which are very cheap, they are as much as 30,000 rupees. They are not expensive. You can buy any amount of them, and they are very light. You can just carry them like a suitcase. And a 5 HP pump generates 60 kg per centimeter square pressure. And they can throw for a long distance. So what I want is that every one of you to buy a couple of different pumps, 5 HP 2, 3, or, and 10 HP 1 or 2, and 8 HP 1 or 2. All of them put together doesn't cost a couple of lakhs. So the idea is that then you don't need to install a particular place, or you can put at a standard place at some point. Put a one box and put it there, and put also a emergency supply and all this, and that is always there. Okay. So now what happens in case you need? Again, mutual aid agreement is there. You can pull these pumps also. You can use the water in your sumps, or you already have, most of you already having a overhead tanks. Most of you are already having overhead tanks for the already installed systems. What I would like you to do, if you want to collaborate, all that you have to do is that just put a utility corridor connecting all your plants. Utility corridor means just cement corridor type, that Gadkari Sahib is putting up all across national highways, So you just run that kind of a cement corridor. You can run, it's a duct, cement duct. And in that duct, You just run one CPVC pipeline, which is a fire retardant coated. One CPVC pipeline. You trust your doctor. You are likely to trust your businessman from India. So that is what I made a proposition for them.
Very great.
Yes, sir. Yesterday and today. हमारा मिशन यही है.
They will be able to digest and